Hello dear chess friends and welcome to our new video. In that video I will present game played between Vladimir Savon and Boris Spassky in Soviet Championship final in 1961. Game is extremely important to understand concept of exchanging pieces, of exchanging problems, and you will see what happened in that game. Well, not advanced players very often decision based only on this which pieces would be out of board, so they just take care about piece which will take some opponent piece, but real masters strictly keep focus on pieces present on the board, and you will see how white was just victim of an illusion in that game. Game was played in some fine strategical manner, knight f3 and d5, where after g3 c5 white decided to go for reversed king Indian. That is very solid approach. If king India's for black is recognized as a solid opening, well, that means that reversed king Indian must be even better. And great champions in past like Botvinnik, Petrosian, Fischer just liked to play that in moment they want to play strategically and patiently. After d3 there is f6, e4, matter of style. Black goes for a Samish setup against king Indian, e4, d4, and now after e4 and d4 the normal move for playing against Samish setup is knight h4. That's one of many plans here to play on the king side, and other plan may include c3 with transferring play to the queen side. Never mind, let's go for the game. Knight h4, bishop e6, and normally f4, queen d7, knight d2, and long castling. All that is, let's say, more or less normal, and now next white move is dubious. Well, a4 is connected with transferring knight to c4, well, white wants to play in some statical manner with knight c3 and b3 with idea to prevent black's expansion with b5. Not so often white goes there for playing knight c4 and c3 to open c file somehow and to strike, but a4 is rather some statical approach. Instead of a4 I would suggest here interesting f5, where after bishop f7 there would be bishop f3. White does not only prepare advancing on the king side, but he also prepares exchanging light square bishops. With that pawn chain c2 to f5, it is good for white to exchange light square bishops with this. Let me remind you that g6 is not working because white has something like this with bishop g4 and black position collapses, as you can see. So that would be good for white. White didn't play this, and after a4, bishop d6, white played knight c4. In numerous variations, it is bad for black to capture there, because now d3 never would be possible in view of c3, of course, and not now d3, of course, never d3 would be possible in view of c3. If black prepares with bishop c7, there would be just bishop d2, and there is not d3 in view of c3, where white will still have solid play on the king side. Also, in that position, black played bishop c7. He prepares bishop c4 in some good moment, maybe, but also he prepares maybe knight a5 to get rid of that annoying knight on c4. Bishop d2, knight g7, and now that is wrong to play f5. So why is wrong to play f5? With pawn on f4, still white bishop. After, for instance, move bishop c4, still that white bishop g2 can be transferred to g4 to take control over that active diagonal, but in that moment white allowed serious positional mistake playing f5. White goes for that in the worst moment. Probably Savon, I think, didn't consider powerful black response. Perhaps he knew that bishop c4 formally is bad exchange for for black, because after that white can dominate light squares. Let's say white can dominate light squares, but because there is not real domination, of course. And after that we can see that black has amazing move leading white position to soon collapse, bishop a5. After trading bishop, so generally, let's go back. If you take a look out of the board, you will see that black bishop disappeared the board and white knight disappeared the board, and you will make conclusion that okay, that bishop is more valuable than white knight, and white probably did good job. But you should keep focus on pieces remaining on the board. And with pieces remaining on the board, you'll see that after giving bishop for knight, black eliminates white formally, good bishop. And after exchanging that bishop, white will stay with poor bishop. Bishop g2 is just hopeless, and there is nothing it can do. It would be maybe good if it can go to h5, f7 to invade, but that is not possible. Now if white decides to keep the bishop with bishop c1, you will see that yes, white will formally keep the bishop, but that bishop will be useless and just block the rook. That bishop will control neurological spots d2 and d1, and even black bishop a5 would be more valuable piece than white bishop on c1. So white decided to play rook there. Idea may be to plumber position there and set bishop on d3 with Fermi blockading, trying to support blockade and trying to resist this way, capturing, and king b8 was deep move. Of course, one may say that move is done with idea to set rook there. Not. Idea can be to use c8 for knight, transferring knight to better spot, probably d6. Queen f3, queen c7, black regroups, and queen may invade via b6 or a5, bishop f1, knight c8, and g4. Knight d6, rook g2, all that moves are looking solid. White prepares g5, but there is nothing. Queen c7, targeting c4. Queen e2 must protect the pawn. And now g6. Black is ready to play on both flanks. What about g6? Black can go even for g5, practically forcing white to take, because after knight f3 black will have all time of that world to prepare advance h5 with using h5 for his future activities. In that position, white is practically forced to capture, because if white does not capture, black will capture. If white takes in any moment with e pawn, there will be e4. If white takes with g pawn, black will play rook g8 and white king would be even in danger. After that, knight f3, white had idea maybe to play g5, but black played superbly g5, and now game is strategically over. Let me show black can go here even for f5, eliminating pawn e4 with idea to launch his central pawn armada after e4, e3 and so on. But g5 is more logical. White to go for any opening the position if you have a knight against opponent bishop. Block bishop, now bishop is completely dead in white camp, and black has even f4 for his cavalry. Rook f2, eliminating threats with knight g5. Black played queen e6, and after knight e1, white wants to set knight on d3. Rook h6, preparing doubling, b3 protecting c4, and queen e7. Idea is to liberate square e6 where knight can go to f4. After knight d3, knight e8, black protects the pawn, and that knight prevents b4. Same time, black knight goes to f4. All that is so simple, all that is so trivial. Rook f5, wow, so active move. White installed piece in opponent half of board, but of course there is nothing. Rook dh8, h3, just see. In Soviet Union, coaches just like to call such bishops just with word big pawn. And yes, that bishop is just really a big pawn. It only is used to defend pawn h3. Knight b4. How to describe that move? Absolutely brilliant. If knight f4, still maybe white can resist using that rook to block that file, or after e5 maybe to install that rook there. The point is not in rook. Black simply white to exchange that knight for knight and then to install other knight on b4, for instance. If black can go for knight b4, so eliminate that knight, exchange white d3 knight with that knight, so other knight can go to b4 to f4 with decisive impact. Rook ef1 after capturing. Okay, black can even black can do even this. Of course, black will just double plumber that with a 5, and maybe later even in endgame king can use c5 to invade via d3, via d4. White decided to play this, knight takes, and knight invades to f4. Act of desperation. No, that is not building on fortress, because there is no fortress, just gf, king f2, and queen c7. There is brutal threat of invading with queen this way. White must parry that with this, and now rook g8. Black plays patiently. After rook g8, there is rook g5. What to do? White decided to capture. After capturing, game is easily won. Black just regroups all his pieces there, and after queen b4 he easily converted. What is the point? No, there is no barrier because black plays d3. White cannot play bishop d3 because pawn h3 falls. After that, d3, and black king invades via dark square diagonal. So brutal win, and white resigned. Let's once again pay attention on very important move in the opening. Instead of a4, it was better for white to exchange bad bishop for good bishop. After that, such exchange would not be prevented, and white would be okay. Black can keep bishop by this way, sorry, knight g7 this, but that will cost black some tempi. Bishop would be just bad there, and the point is in that position, white should be preferred. Instead of that, instead of exchanging his bad piece, bishop, for opponent good bishop, white played a bit carelessly. That all is good, but carelessly, f5. Without white move f5, that would be bad for black to capture on c4, because after capturing, white will go for maybe something like this. But after white careless move f5, that is just good impulse to black to capture on c4. Of course, capturing on c4 will bring black nothing if his bishop is, for instance, on e7 instead of c7. But after this, bishop goes to a5, and strategically game would be over. So together with previous exchange, that offering exchange is practically forcing white to capture. White can do bishop c1, of course, but this time that bishop would be clearly bad. Black will control d2 and e1, and that bishop on a5 would be actually better than bishop on c1. So white was forced to play this, and you can see the rest of the game was just brutal realization of huge positional advantage black has in that moment. So my dear chess friends, don't go for automatical moves in your future career. Don't think something is just normal if you saw that in games of great players in the past. Just check every possibility of your opponent, because as you can see, try not to become a victim of an illusion as Savon was in that game. Bishop c4 usually is not good exchange, but in that moment after f5, that was amazing move, giving black a relatively easy victory. So try in your future games to think twice before you go for solving exchanging problems, before you go for offering exchange, or when opponent offer you some exchange. Think twice, because usually there will not be step back. You cannot go again to get the same chance. Hope you enjoyed that video and hope you could learn some things from this one. I hope also you will enjoy our next lessons. That would be all for that video. See you soon, my dear chess friends, with new material. Bye bye.